The poet Mary Oliver writes, "On the outskirts of Jerusalem, the donkey waited, not especially brave or filled with understanding. He stood and waited. The donkey was tied to a tree and waited. Then he let himself be led away. Then he let the stranger mount. Never had he been ridden. Never had he seen such crowds. And I wonder if he at all imagined what was to happen. Still, he was what he always had been, small, dark, obedient. I hope finally he felt brave. I hope finally he loved the man who rode so lightly upon him as he lifted one dusty hoof and stepped as he had to forward. He lifted one dusty hoof and stepped as he had to forward. The donkey is a poignant character in the story of Jesus' entry into Jerusalem. He is a creature of everyday life, bearing no concept of a great moment of history, no idea of heroism. In fact, as Mary Oliver says, he was what he always had been. I love that slanted view because it captures the truth of all of us as we struggle with the events in our own world. As we wonder which of these events will matter in the long run and try to do what we can without knowing how what we do will come out. We step forward as we have to. There's power in this story. It was the Passover in Jerusalem, a holy time of year. People poured into the city to offer sacrifices at the center of the religious life, at the temple. The Roman occupiers came at this festival time as well because they feared the crowds. They feared what oppressed people gathered to celebrate the liberation story in the Exodus might do. And especially that year. A wildly popular itinerant Jewish teacher was coming from Galilee with dangerous ideas and an alarming ability to inspire people. The crowds were growing. Through the city's west gate marched Caesar's man Pontius Pilate and his soldiers, armor, and weapons heavily on display. Everything about this procession smacked of empire, of wealth, privilege, power, glory, intimidation. But on the other side of town, coming through the east gate, came the peasant preacher on a donkey, surrounded by other common people, spreading their cloaks and palms before the humble animal and the rider. The people followed the teacher to the temple with shouts of Hosanna. You would think that Jesus would have been afraid. He might well have been. Not as afraid, not as scared, however, as the Romans who feared the crowd. They couldn't quickly eliminate Jesus because they were afraid that people would take revenge. But they also couldn't afford to do nothing. Much of what happened in Jerusalem during that week, the betrayal, the arrest in the dark of night, the questioning, the conviction, the execution, occurred because of that dynamic. Fear of the crowds of liberation. The Palm Sunday story invites us in for at least two important reasons. First, the Jewish and Christian traditions are the roots from which our faith grows. These stories, they are our stories. Their sites mark our religious maps. And second, the story raises for us today a crucial, relevant question. Which procession will we choose? Will we choose Jesus's or Caesar's? Will we choose Jesus' daring truth or Caesar's extravagant lie? Will we step forward for the audacious truth? Remember, those are the processions that we are confronted with. From the west, Caesar and Pontius Pilate. From the right, Jesus and the audacious truth. I think that to understand the question, it's important to remember that the kingdom of God that Jesus spoke and preached about was not some heavenly world, some place to go after you die. That would have been utterly alien to the Jewish teachings he grew up with. Note, Jesus was talking about a here and now kingdom. He invited his followers to join together to work in the here and now on this earth. To come together in the new realm of justice, compassion, and greater equality. To create a domain that would include prostitutes, lepers, even the despised Samaritans. And this kingdom of love, the here and now kingdom of love offered by Jesus, it stood in glaring contrast to the realm of Caesar. Remember, Caesar claimed to be the Son of God. He not only claimed to be, he announced it throughout his whole life and throughout all of his dominions. He claimed to be the Son of God. He insisted on being called Lord, and yes, on being called Savior, long before anyone imagined that Jesus was asking for these honorifics. And long after Jesus' death, that is what Caesar claimed. He also said that he, Caesar, had ascended to the heavens and had conferred with the gods and therefore strode for the gods. Above all, Jesus' ministry called for the transformation from a world of harsh inequality into one of greater justice. Jesus was born in Nazareth, a tiny, profoundly poor peasant village with at most 100 families. It's hard to imagine Nazareth because we have been inundated with church school stories and pictures of a prosperous little town. Nazareth had no public buildings. It had one well and one bath for the entire community. Jesus became a carpenter because it was the only work he could get. And please do not imagine him sitting in a wood shop. He was an itinerant carpenter. He barely owned a hammer. He traveled around to where the work was, like every other carpenter in those times. He grew up watching his people become tenant farmers and sharecroppers. They lost their land. He grew up seeing them become beggars as small farms were seized and folded into vast estates of the wealthy. Even as a few wealthy families and Romans lived in luxury in the city, people were starving in the countryside. 2/3 of the wealth produced went into the coffers of the very few. And this, for a people who celebrated ancient liberation from slavery in the Exodus and who revered a time of justice and well-being under the compassionate King David. It was David's kingdom to which the man on the donkey sought to return his people. The entry into Jerusalem, a quintessential moment, the apex in the life and ministry of Jesus. It embodied his passion for justice and equality for his people. It embodied his willingness to challenge the forces of domination. And it was his invitation for others to step forward with him. The story of Palm Sunday is a story at its core of both peaceful resistance and a demand for liberation. Through his actions, Jesus invited his followers to resist along with him. Follow my way. Come with me on my way to restore justice, compassion, equality. And this entrance into Jerusalem urges us to ask too, which procession will we join? Jesus cared profoundly about the lives of people here and now. He gave them hope. How the 85 wealthiest people, that's 85 individual people in the world, have as much wealth as the 3.5 billion bottom half of the population. 7 out of 10 people live in countries where income inequalities has increased geometrically in the last 30 years. The latest report of Oxfam says that the gap in wealth means that a few people have an undue influence on policy making. Under the statistics, under the political rhetoric of our time, lie the everyday lives of human beings who cannot sleep. And these are human beings in the United States of America, not just in other countries. People who cannot sleep for worrying about how to provide health care for their families. Parents of color who fear whether their children will make it home alive. Immigrants who despair at being returned to violent, dangerous homes. What procession do we join? The march of the extravagant lie? Caesar's march? The march of those who, fearing the power of the poor and worshiping the idol of money, work to keep marginalized people in boxes where they cannot escape. Or do we join the march of the audacious truth? Jesus' procession of those who believe that life can be lived with more decency, compassion, and exception. On that first Palm Sunday, the people, the everyday people, aching and bruised people, they were just what they had always been, like the donkey. But some, when they lifted their dusty feet that day in Jerusalem, took the road less sure, and stepped into the audacious, liberating truth. On this Palm Sunday, we can